The massive alien fleet hung in the darkness of space like a swarm of metallic insects, their ships gleaming under the distant starlight. Admiral Jack Thompson stood at the bridge of the HMS Titan, humanity's largest and most advanced warship, watching the tactical display with steady eyes. The alien vessels, though numerous, were small compared to the Titan, each no larger than an Earth destroyer. "Sir, they're broadcasting again," reported Lieutenant Tom Wilson from his communications station. "Same message as before." Thompson nodded slowly. The aliens, who called themselves the Bright Ones, had been repeating the same demand for the past hour: submit to inspection or be destroyed. They claimed authority over this sector of space, despite it being unclaimed territory according to Earth's stellar maps. "How are our systems holding up?" Thompson asked, turning to his chief engineer. "All green, sir," replied Mary Reed, her fingers dancing across her holographic interface. "The quantum shields are at full capacity, and our new dark matter drive is purring like a kitten. We could take on their entire fleet if we had to." Thompson hoped it wouldn't come to that. The Titan was humanity's first true supercarrier, a 15-kilometer-long behemoth that had taken 20 years to build. It carried enough firepower to glass a small moon, but its true purpose was to serve as humanity's flagship for peaceful first contact scenarios. The irony of the situation wasn't lost on him. "Sir," Wilson called out again, his voice tighter this time. "I'm detecting power spikes from their lead vessels. They're charging weapons." Thompson straightened his uniform and made his decision. "Open a channel to their command ship. Let's show them what they're really dealing with." The main viewscreen flickered to life, revealing a being that looked like a cross between a praying mantis and a jellyfish. Its translucent body pulsed with bioluminescent patterns that probably served as some form of communication among its kind. "This is Admiral Thompson of the Earth ship Titan," he announced clearly. "We come in peace, but we will not submit to inspection or threats. Our vessel is larger than your entire fleet combined, and our technology is beyond anything you've encountered. We request peaceful dialogue as equals." The alien commander's body flashed with rapid pulses of light. The universal translator took a moment before converting it to speech: "Impossible. No species could build such a vessel. You are using holographic trickery to appear larger than you are. Submit now or face annihilation." Thompson sighed. It was always the same with newer spacefaring races. They couldn't believe that humanity, the supposed newcomers to the galactic stage, could have advanced so quickly. They didn't understand that humanity's isolation on Earth had driven them to develop technologies that other races never even conceived of. "Chief Reed, disable their shields. Minimal power, if you please. We don't want to damage their systems permanently." Reed tapped a few commands, and a barely visible wave of quantum energy washed over the alien fleet. Every single ship's shields winked out simultaneously. The alien commander's body went completely still, its bioluminescence dimming to almost nothing. When it spoke again, the translator detected something new in its voice: fear. How did you?" "That was approximately 0.1% of our shield disruption capability," Thompson explained calmly. "We could have just as easily disabled your engines, weapons, or life support. Instead, we chose the most harmless demonstration possible. Now, shall we discuss peaceful cooperation between our species?" The bridge fell silent as they waited for the aliens' response. This was always the crucial moment in first contact scenarios, when the other side realized that humanity wasn't just another upstart race with delusions of grandeur, but a genuine technological powerhouse. After what seemed like an eternity, the alien commander's body pulsed with new patterns. We would be honored to open diplomatic relations with your species, Admiral Thompson. Please accept our sincere apologies for our earlier hostility." Thompson allowed himself a small smile. Another potential war averted, another chance for peaceful cooperation secured. This was why they had built the Titan, not to fight wars, but to prevent them. Sometimes, the best way to keep the peace was to make it clear that starting a war would be a terrible mistake. Excellent, he replied. We'll send over our diplomatic team. I think you'll find that humanity makes a much better friend than enemy. As the communication ended, Thompson looked out at the now peaceful alien fleet. The Titan's massive hull dwarfed their ships, its dark matter-enhanced armor gleaming with subtle energy patterns. He wondered what other species would think if they knew that this monster ship was just the first of its class, and that 3 more were already under construction back in Sol system. Humanity had learned its lessons from Earth's bloody history, peace through strength, but strength wielded with wisdom and restraint. The galaxy was about to learn those same lessons, one first contact at a time. The diplomatic chamber aboard the Titan was specifically designed to accommodate various alien physiologies, with its environment easily adjustable for different atmospheric needs and gravitational preferences. Admiral Thompson watched as the Bright One's delegation entered, their translucent bodies creating a mesmerizing light show against the chamber's dark walls. "Your vessel is extraordinary," said the lead diplomat, who had introduced himself as First Light. His bioluminescent patterns shifted to what the translators interpreted as a mix of awe and embarrassment. "We must apologize again for our initial reaction. We had heard rumors of humanity's technological achievements, but we dismissed them as exaggerations." Dr. Anna Peters, the Titan's chief xenobiologist, stepped forward. "That's a common reaction. Most species develop space travel gradually over thousands of years. Humanity's rapid advancement is unusual." Thompson noticed how the alien diplomats pulsed with curiosity at her words. They had set up this meeting room with special light-absorbing panels that could record and analyze the Bright One's bioluminescent communication patterns. Already, their xenolinguistics team was building a more comprehensive translation database. "Tell us," First Light's second-in-command, Deep Pulse, asked, "how did humans achieve such rapid progress? Our historical records show your species only achieved powered flight just over 2 centuries ago." Thompson shared a knowing look with Dr. Peters. This was always a delicate part of first contact, explaining humanity's unique development path without causing alarm. "Necessity," Thompson replied carefully. "Earth's history is marked by constant competition and conflict. Unlike many species who evolved toward natural harmony, humans had to learn cooperation the hard way. Each war pushed our technology forward, until we finally realized that our drive for advancement needed to be channeled into exploration rather than conflict." The aliens' light patterns flickered rapidly, their equivalent of concerned murmuring. "You developed your technology through warfare?" First Light asked, his patterns showing what the translators identified as concern. "Through competition," Dr. Peters corrected gently. "Which eventually led to cooperation. The Titan itself is a perfect example. 20 nations pooled their resources to build her, sharing technologies and expertise that they once would have kept secret from each other." As if to emphasize her point, the ship's quantum core hummed softly, its energy radiating through the hull in barely perceptible waves. The Bright Ones swayed slightly, apparently sensitive to the harmonics. "Fascinating," Deep Pulse commented. "Our sensors indicate your power output exceeds anything in our database. Yet you choose to use it for peaceful contact?" "Peace through strength," Thompson explained. "We believe the best way to avoid conflict is to make it an unattractive option. But strength must be paired with wisdom and restraint." The diplomatic discussion continued for hours, covering everything from trade possibilities to cultural exchange. The Bright Ones were particularly interested in human art and music, while the human delegation was fascinated by the aliens' bioluminescent language. However, the meeting was interrupted by an urgent call from the bridge. "Admiral," Lieutenant Wilson's voice came through Thompson's neural link, "we're detecting multiple wormhole signatures at the edge of the system. Large fleet configuration." Thompson excused himself briefly and accessed the tactical display through his neural interface. What he saw made his blood run cold. A massive fleet of warships was emerging from wormhole space, their design unmistakably belonging to the Harvesters, a notorious species known for stripping resource-rich systems bare. First Light must have noticed his concern. "Is something wrong, Admiral?" Thompson made a quick decision. There was no point in hiding the situation. If they were to build trust, honesty was essential. "We have incoming visitors," he explained, activating the room's holographic display. "A Harvester fleet, at least 300 ships strong." The Bright One's bodies pulsed with patterns that the translators interpreted as terror. "Harvesters. We must evacuate immediately. They will strip this system bare, they always do." "Not this time," Thompson said firmly. "Lieutenant Wilson, battle stations. Dr. Peters, please escort our guests to the observation deck. I want them to see this." As Thompson strode back to the bridge, he could hear First Light calling after him. "Admiral, you don't understand. No one has ever successfully fought off a Harvester fleet. They are too many, too powerful." Thompson allowed himself a grim smile. "Then it's time someone showed them that the galaxy has changed. The era of unchecked aggression is over." As he reached the bridge, the Titan's quantum shields were already humming to full power, and the dark matter drive was charging for potential combat maneuvers. The massive ship's 15-kilometer length began to glow with subtle energy patterns, like a sleeping giant awakening. "Battle stations confirmed, sir," Wilson reported. "All systems at combat readiness." "Good," Thompson replied, settling into his command chair. "Let's show our new friends how humanity handles bullies. And let's show the Harvesters why they should find a new line of work." The Titan sensors tracked the approaching Harvester fleet, their ships arranged in their characteristic feeding formation. They hadn't yet noticed that the prey in this system had very sharp teeth indeed. Thompson thought about the Bright Ones watching from the observation deck, and about how this moment would reshape their understanding of humanity. Sometimes, the best way to make peace was to be ready for war. The Titan had been built to prevent conflicts, but if prevention failed, she was more than capable of ending them. The Harvesters were about to learn this lesson the hard way. The Harvester fleet emerged fully from their wormholes, their ships arranged in a massive arrowhead formation. From the Titan's observation deck, First Light and the other Bright Ones watched with pulsing patterns of fear as the enemy vessels approached. Their terror turned to confusion when they noticed Admiral Thompson's calm demeanor. "Sir, incoming transmission from the Harvester command ship," Lieutenant Wilson reported from the bridge. On screen, Thompson ordered, standing tall as the main display flickered to life. The Harvester commander appeared, a creature covered in metallic scales, its cybernetic eyes glowing with cold calculation. "This system is now under Harvester control. Surrender your vessels and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in immediate destruction." Thompson allowed himself a small chuckle. "I was about to make you a similar offer, minus the boarding part. This system is under Earth protection now. I suggest you leave peacefully." The Harvester commander's cybernetic eyes whirred as they focused. "One ship against our fleet? Your species' arrogance is legendary, but this exceeds even the rumors we've heard. Prepare to—" "Chief Reed," Thompson interrupted, "disable their targeting systems. All ships." Mary Reed's fingers danced across her console. The Titan's quantum disruption field pulsed outward, invisible to the naked eye but devastating in its effect. Across the Harvester fleet, targeting computers went dark, weapon systems powered down, and shield generators sputtered into silence. The Harvester commander's expression shifted from confidence to disbelief. "Impossible. How did you—" "That was a warning," Thompson stated firmly. "The next demonstration will be more comprehensive. You have 5 minutes to power up your wormhole drives and leave this system. After that, we'll be forced to take more decisive action. You dare threaten the Harvester fleet? We are 300 ships strong. And we are one ship, Thompson replied calmly. One ship that just disabled your entire fleet's offensive capabilities with a single command. Would you like to see what else we can do? From the observation deck, the Bright Ones watched in amazement as the massive harvester fleet hung powerless in space. Their bioluminescent patterns showed a mixture of awe and disbelief at how easily the Titan had neutralized such a fearsome enemy. The harvester commander's scaled face contorted with rage. This is some trick. All ships, full attack pattern. Fire all weapons. They're not going to leave peacefully, sir, Wilson reported. Detecting power surges across their fleet, they're trying to reactivate their weapons manually. Thompson nodded grimly. Very well. Time for a more convincing demonstration. Chief Reed, activate the gravity lance. Minimal power, target their flagship's propulsion system only. The Titan's newest weapon system powered up, drawing on the ship's immense dark matter reserves. A barely visible distortion spread from the ship's bow, warping space itself around the harvester flagship. With surgical precision, the gravity lance created a localized field of extreme gravitational force around the enemy ship's engine section. Metal creaked and bent as the flagship's rear quarter imploded, crushed by forces that defied conventional physics. The damage was precise and limited, a demonstration of not just power, but control. By the void. The harvester commander's voice shook. What kind of weapon is this? One of many, Thompson replied. That was approximately 2% of the gravity lance's full power, targeted at a small section of your ship. Imagine what would happen if we decided to stop being gentle. You have 3 minutes remaining to leave this system. The observation deck erupted with flickering patterns as the Bright Ones communicated rapidly among themselves. They had never seen harvesters retreat, it was thought impossible. Yet here was a single human vessel, forcing an entire harvester fleet to reconsider their attack. Sir, Wilson called out, detecting power signatures from the fleet. They're spinning up their wormhole drives. One by one, the harvester ships began to disappear into wormhole space, their mighty fleet retreating before the Titan's superior technology. The flagship, despite its damaged engines, managed to limp into a wormhole last. As the final ship disappeared, a cheer went up from the Titan's crew. However, Thompson quickly raised his hand for silence. Stay alert. Scan for any stragglers or hidden units. And keep all weapons primed, harvesters aren't known for giving up easily. First Light approached Thompson, his body pulsing with patterns that the translators struggled to interpret. In all our history, no one has ever driven off a harvester fleet without massive casualties. Yet you did it without destroying a single ship. Sometimes the best victory is the one where you don't have to destroy your enemy, Thompson explained. We designed the Titan to end conflicts, preferably before they begin. Today, the harvesters learned that their usual tactics won't work anymore. That lesson will spread. Your ship, Deep Pulse interjected, his patterns showing intense curiosity. You said it was the first of its class. Thompson nodded. The first of 4. The others are under construction in our home system. Once they're complete, we plan to establish regular patrols through this sector of space. The era of unchecked piracy and resource theft is coming to an end. The Bright One's patterns shifted to something the translators identified as hope. Would Earth consider extending its protection to our systems as well? First Light asked carefully. That's exactly the kind of diplomatic discussion we should be having, Thompson replied with a smile. But first, let's make sure the harvesters have truly left. Lieutenant Wilson, prepare a detailed scan of the system. Chief Reed, begin damage assessment of our systems, minimal though I expect it to be. As the crew carried out their duties, Thompson watched the Bright Ones discussing among themselves, their bioluminescent patterns creating a beautiful light show against the observation deck's walls. In just one day, humanity had turned potential enemies into allies and driven off one of the sector's most notorious threats. Not bad for a first contact mission, Thompson thought. Not bad at all. News travels fast in space. Within hours of the Harvester fleet's retreat, ships from a dozen different species began appearing at the edge of the system. They kept their distance, but their presence was impossible to ignore. Everyone wanted to see the vessel that had forced the dreaded Harvesters to flee. Admiral Thompson stood in the Titan's main conference room, now filled with holographic displays showing various approaching vessels. Quite a crowd we're drawing, he remarked to Dr. Peters, who was analyzing the sensor data. 17 different species at last count, she replied, gesturing at the displays. Most of them victims of Harvester raids in the past. The bright ones have been broadcasting what happened here. Their quantum communications network is impressive. First Light, who had remained aboard the Titan as a temporary ambassador, pulsed with what the translators now recognized as pride. Our communication technology is one of our few advantages. We may lack your military strength, but we excel at sharing information. A valuable trait for potential allies, Thompson noted diplomatically. The words caused First Light's bioluminescence to brighten considerably. Lieutenant Wilson's voice came through the ship's comm system. Admiral, priority message from Earth Command. Admiral Blake wishes to speak with you immediately. Thompson excused himself and moved to his private office. The holographic form of Admiral Blake, Earth's Chief of Space Operations, appeared before him. Despite being light years away, the quantum entanglement communications made the conversation feel immediate. Jack, Blake began without preamble, you've stirred up quite a hornet's nest out there. The Harvester fleet you encountered has retreated to their core systems. Our deep space monitoring stations report unprecedented levels of activity in their territory. Are they preparing for retaliation? Thompson asked, though he doubted it. Blake shook her head. Quite the opposite. We're detecting massive movements of ships, away from their frontier territories. They're pulling back, consolidating their forces. Your demonstration seems to have convinced them that expansion is no longer a viable strategy. Thompson allowed himself a small smile. Good. That was the intent. How has the Council reacted? The Earth Defense Council is pleased, though some members are concerned about the diplomatic implications. We've received contact requests from 32 spatial governments in the last 6 hours. Everyone wants to know about our monster ships. Blake's expression turned serious. The Council has new orders for you. They want the Titan to remain in that sector and establish a permanent Earth presence there. And the other 3 ships under construction? The Zeus, Apollo, and Athena will be assigned to different sectors once they're complete. The age of humanity hiding in its home system is over, Jack. It's time we took a more active role in galactic affairs. Back in the conference room, Thompson found an increasingly crowded situation. More diplomatic representatives had arrived, each eager to establish relations with Earth. The bright ones were acting as informal intermediaries, their natural diplomatic skills proving invaluable. The Crystalline Confederation offers trade rights and mining privileges in exchange for protection similar to what was offered to the bright ones, First Light translated, his patterns shifting rapidly as he relayed messages. The Stellar Assembly of Free Worlds proposes a mutual defense pact. The Deep Space Trading Guild wishes to establish exclusive commerce routes. Thompson held up his hand, causing the room to quiet. Earth appreciates all these offers, but we need to proceed carefully and fairly. We're not here to establish an empire or create dependencies. Our goal is to help stabilize this sector and ensure free trade and travel for all peaceful species. A representative of the Crystalline Confederation, a being that looked like a collection of floating diamond shards, moved forward. But surely Earth expects something in return for its protection? Peace is its own reward, Thompson replied. However, we are interested in cultural and technological exchange. Each species has its own strengths and innovations. The bright ones, for example, have communication technology that could complement our own systems perfectly. First Light's patterns showed surprise and pleasure at the compliment. The other representatives began discussing among themselves, their various universal translators creating a symphony of overlapping languages. Dr. Peters approached Thompson quietly. "They're already forming alliances among themselves," she observed. "Species that have been historical rivals are discussing cooperation, united by the common goal of earning Earth's friendship." "Exactly as intended," Thompson replied softly. "The Titan isn't just a show of force, it's a catalyst for change. Sometimes people just need a reason to work together." The ship's AI announced another arrival, a delegation from the Mechanical Collective, a society of artificial beings that had broken away from their organic creators centuries ago. They were known for their isolation and distrust of organic life. "This is unexpected," First Light pulsed. "The collective hasn't engaged in diplomatic relations with any organic species in over 300 years. The Mechanical Collective's representatives, sleek, chrome-plated humanoid forms, entered the conference room. Their leader, a being designated Primary Node 7, addressed Thompson directly. "We have analyzed your ship's capabilities and your species' approach to technological advancement. Your integration of organic and mechanical systems is intriguing. The collective wishes to understand how you achieved such harmony between biological and artificial components." Thompson recognized the historic opportunity before him. The Mechanical Collective's technology was legendary, but they had always refused to share it with organic species. "We would be happy to exchange knowledge with the collective, provided such exchange benefits all peaceful species in this sector." As the diplomatic discussions continued, Thompson received another update from Lieutenant Wilson. The Harvester fleet had begun dismantling their frontier bases, withdrawing entirely from disputed territories. The mere existence of the Titan and the promise of more ships like it had changed the balance of power in the galaxy. First Light approached Thompson during a brief break in the negotiations. "You knew this would happen, didn't you? The gathering of species, the alliances, the withdrawal of the Harvesters, this was all part of Earth's plan." Thompson smiled. "Let's just say we hoped for the best and prepared for the worst. The galaxy was ready for change, it just needed a little push." 1 month after the Harvester incident, the Titan had become the center of a transformation that nobody could have predicted. The once empty system now bustled with activity as ships from dozens of species came and went, their crews working together to establish what was being called the Unity Station, a massive space station that would serve as the headquarters for the newly formed Galactic Cooperative. Admiral Thompson watched from the Titan's observation deck as construction drones from the Mechanical Collective worked alongside organic engineers from various species. The station's unique design incorporated elements from all member species, Bright One communication arrays, crystalline Confederation power systems, and human quantum shielding. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Dr. Peters said, joining him at the window. "A month ago, these species barely talked to each other. Now look at them. Unity born from diversity," Thompson replied. "Earth's own history taught us that lesson the hard way." First Light, now officially appointed as the Bright One's ambassador, approached them with excited pulses of light. "Admiral, we've just received word. The last Harvester outpost in the sector has been peacefully decommissioned. Their territory is being redistributed among the species they displaced." "Any signs of resistance?" Thompson asked, though he already knew the answer. "None. The demonstration of the Titan's capabilities was convincing. But more than that, they realize they're now facing a united front. No single species would be easy prey anymore." The ship's AI announced another arrival. The Zeus, the second of Earth's monster ships, had just emerged from wormhole space. Its massive form, identical to the Titan, cast a shadow over the construction site. "Right on schedule. Shall we head to the conference room?" Thompson suggested. It's time for the final charter signing. The conference room had been expanded to accommodate representatives from all 27 species that had joined the Galactic Cooperative. The room hummed with translators as various beings discussed the historic moment in their native tongues. Primary Node 7 of the Mechanical Collective stood at the center of the room, its chrome surface reflecting the lights from the Bright One's communication patterns. The integration of our technologies has exceeded initial projections. The Unity Station will be fully operational 3 months ahead of schedule. Efficient cooperation tends to have that effect, Thompson replied with a smile. How are the joint research projects progressing? Exceptionally well, the artificial being stated. The combination of human quantum mechanics, Bright One communications, and collective processing systems has opened up entirely new fields of study. We estimate technological advancement rates will increase by 300% through shared knowledge. The room quieted as Admiral Blake's hologram appeared. She surveyed the gathered representatives with satisfaction. Distinguished delegates, the Earth Defense Council has reviewed and approved the final charter for the Galactic Cooperative. Are all member species ready to proceed with ratification? One by one, the representatives signaled their agreement. The Crystalline Confederation's delegate sparkled brilliantly as they spoke. We have spent centuries fighting among ourselves or hiding from aggressors. Today, we choose a different path. Thompson stepped forward. The charter is simple: mutual defense, free trade, shared technological advancement, and respect for all sentient life. Every species maintains its independence while contributing to the common good. And Earth's monster ships, asked a representative from a newly joined species. Will they enforce this charter? The Titan, Zeus, Apollo, and Athena will serve as peacekeepers, Thompson explained. But they're not rulers or conquerors. Think of them as guardians, ensuring that no species can threaten the peace we're building here. First Light's patterns showed strong approval. The Bright Ones have already begun adapting our communication network to serve the cooperative. Soon, all member species will be able to share information and coordinate efforts in real time. As the formal signing began, Thompson received a private message from Admiral Blake through his neural link. The Council is pleased, Jack. Very pleased. When we launched the Titan, we hoped to prevent wars and establish diplomatic relations. Instead, you've helped birth an entirely new era of galactic cooperation. The species were ready for change, Thompson replied modestly. We just provided the catalyst. Don't undersell it, Blake insisted. Your handling of the harvesters showed everyone that power doesn't have to corrupt. That strength can serve peace. The galaxy needed that lesson. The signing ceremony concluded with a symbolic gesture, representatives from all 27 species placing their hands, or equivalent appendages, on a central crystal, their touch causing it to glow with combined light. The crystal would be displayed at the heart of Unity Station, a permanent reminder of this historic moment. As the celebrations began, Thompson found himself back at the observation deck, watching the construction of Unity Station continue. The Zeus had taken up position opposite the Titan, the two massive ships standing guard over the birth of this new galactic order. Dr. Peters joined him again. Penny for your thoughts, Admiral? Just thinking about humanity's journey, he replied. A century ago, we were killing each other over lines drawn on maps. Now we're helping unite the galaxy. He paused, watching a group of Bright Ones coordinating with mechanical collective drones on a particularly complex section of the station. We learned from our mistakes. And now we can help others avoid making the same ones. Speaking of learning, First Light pulsed as he approached. The first group of human students has arrived to study Bright One communication patterns. And we have volunteers ready to learn human quantum mechanics. The knowledge exchange has begun. Thompson nodded with satisfaction. This was how lasting peace was built, not through force or fear, but through understanding and cooperation. The Titan and her sister ships would ensure that this peace had time to grow strong roots. As if reading his thoughts, First Light's patterns shifted to show curiosity. Tell me, Admiral, when human engineers were designing these monster ships, did they ever imagine they would become symbols of peace rather than war? Thompson smiled, watching as another group of ships arrived through wormhole space, more species coming to join the cooperative. That was always the plan, First Light. We built them large enough to fight any war, powerful enough to end any conflict, and wise enough to prevent both. The Titan's quantum core hummed softly, its energy resonating with the growing structure of Unity Station. Humanity's monster ship had arrived in this sector as an unknown variable, but it would remain as a guardian of a new age, one where the stars themselves bore witness to the power of unity, wisdom, and peace.